Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for taking time out of your day to view my content. In this video, I will be defining more subgenres of horror. I already have a video on this out. I will link it down in the comments section. Anyways, please like and subscribe and comment down below. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first fifth, since I already defined four in the last video, subgenre of horror I would like to define today is splatter. Judging by how this is horror, that's pretty straightforward. Gore, and lots of it, usually explicitly shown. I would also like to say that splatter, unlike quite a few of the genres here and already mentioned, is not exclusive to horror. There are lots of other movies, mostly action movies, that would be splatter films, but not horror films. The focus here is already mentioned gore, and lots of it. However, there are films with lots of gore explicitly shown that would not be splatter films. Movies like The Hunt and The Thing are very gory movies, but not necessarily splatter films. And some popular examples of splatter films would be like The Evil Dead, Terrifier, Dead Snow, Day of the Dead. Splatter films can also be darkly comedic, some, like basically so violent and gory to the point where it's just funny, basically, or even just like your typical splatter film, but having more comedic elements mixed in. Movies like the aforementioned Dead Snow, Tokyo Gore Police, Evil Dead 2, Brain Dead. A lot of splatter films also get the exploitation label because, as I mentioned in a short, which I also recommend you watch, one of the staples of the exploitation genre is graphic violence. Movies like Human Centipede, a Serbian film, and Cannibal Holocaust would all be splatter films that are exploitation films. This next genre of horror, very near and dear to my heart. I love this subgenre of horror, but it's a little hard to describe, so buckle up. This is going to be a little complicated. Lovecraftian horror, also known as eldritch or cosmic horror. Its emphasis is on the fear of the unknown and incomprehensible. It usually the characters encounter some force or entity that's so great, so powerful, so influential that it makes humanity and just humans in general insignificant. The beings and entities featured are amoral and extremely powerful by nature. Psychological horror. It plays a big part in Lovecraftian horror, as do themes of insanity and existential crises, because the powers and the forces encountered are usually so great that it literally causes them to go insane. This is a very hard thing to do in film, but it's much easier to do literally. H.P. Lovecraft, who the genre is named for, is known for starting this genre. The reason it's so hard to film is because it relies so much on what you do not know or what cannot be comprehended, usually making it very visually challenging to do eldritch or Lovecraftian horror right on screen, but that doesn't mean that there aren't Lovecraftian horror movies. One of my favorite horror movies is actually a Lovecraftian horror movie, Event Horizon, Really good film. I'd highly recommend you check it out. Some others would be Annihilation, Alien, and The Thing. I couldn't really find much in lieu of directors that specialize in Eldritch horror, but John Carpenter would certainly be one of them. The next genre I'd like to go and define is supernatural. Usually have ghosts and demons, involve possession and supernatural phenomena such as, I don't know, typical ghost stuff, the temperature in rooms dropping, jump scares, as I already mentioned, possession, uh, The Exorcist, The Nun, and Insidious would be popular examples of supernatural horror films. Found footage, there's a lot of supernatural found footage. Gonjaim Haunted Asylum, it's a South Korean horror movie. Really scary, really good. I recommend you check it out. Paranormal Activity, that one was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that one. Ironically, I watched it 2 years ago on Christmas. Anyways, besides the point. And REC is a Spanish movie that's found footage. The next genre, this is a pretty good one to segue into, considering that this is a component to this one, is Gothic horror. Gothic, besides being a style of architecture, which does play a role in Gothic horror movies, usually a big haunted mansion or a castle, haunted house, cathedral of some sort. Another thing that would set this out from other subgenres of horror is they usually have vampires, werewolves as the enemies, usually also some sort of satanic supernatural element, and pretty much always take place in medieval-esque settings. Movies like, or although there are some set in more modern settings like The Nun or House on Haunted Hill. Some even incorporate a romantic element. 2024, this movie came out very recently. Nosferatu and Dracula. Some other examples of Gothic horror movies would be, well, the aforementioned Dracula. That's all I have written down. Anyways, some trivia to close the video out is the movies Psycho and Peeping Tom are recognized as laying the groundwork for the slasher genre. The film that started the summer blockbuster film is actually a horror movie, and that is Steven Spielberg's Jaws. It came out in 1976, and the first movie to feature gore is Blood Feast. It came out in 1963. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. A suggestion for a series, or even what horror movie would you like me to watch next. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.